was thinking about this when Blake Baker was meeting with reporters on Monday. And he was talking about the pieces that were brought in this year and how it kind of all fits with the culture and what Brian Kelly's building and everything. And I started thinking about the context of LSU and LSU defensively and how much we have altered how we perceive LSU's defense. I'm going to run through some numbers in a second. And I know numbers don't always play well on radio or if you can't see them, but I promise you, this isn't a thing where, like, you got to memorize the numbers. Like, I'm going to run through numbers. It's just going to make sense as I do it, whether you remember the numbers or not. Because we have completely transposed how we view defense. And I think this year under Blake Baker is the year where it may be the reset button. I'll explain what I mean, but Blake Baker was asked about how all the new pieces they've added this year are meshing together on this defense. Listen.
You know, part of the job of being a defensive coordinator is obviously fitting the scheme to your players. And every coordinator has specific things that they want to have the luxury to do, right? I think when you look across the board, I think it's twofold. I think from an overall athleticism standpoint, we've upgraded, and then also from a experience standpoint. We brought in, you know, like we've talked about 1,000 times, guys have played a lot of football. And I'll kind of leave it at that to get into too many specifics, but I think those are the two biggest generalizations.
It is undeniable. Undeniable. If you have two eyes, you go out and watch this team on the practice field, you go, that's how it's supposed to look. They just look better. Like, you can tell. DJ Pickett, 6'5". He looks awesome. Montour Delane locking down Barry and Brown or Chris Hilton in the back corner of the end zone, that looks awesome. You look at Patrick Payton, who looks like a praying mantis coming off the edge, that's how it's supposed to look. When nobody can block Bernard Gooden, when Harold Perkins is making plays at all three levels, when Whit Weeks is a potential Butkus award, like, you go, okay, yes. That A.J. Halsey making tackles from his safety spot, like, that's how it's supposed to look. I'm not telling you they got 6 first-rounders on this defense. I'm just telling you it's a dramatic difference than a year ago when Jacoby and Guillory, who was a rotational guy his whole career, was counted on to be like your dude in the middle. And then he got hurt, and you had nothing. It's different. But here's what I was alluding to about how we've changed our mentality over the last 5 years. Last year, LSU ranked 59th in the country in total defense. 59th. You don't need to memorize this. Just, I'm going to give you some stuff for context. 59th, which was a dramatic improvement from 2023, which was the worst defense in the history of LSU by yards and points. They ranked 82nd in the country. Now, the COVID year, they were 99th. 99th in the country. But by yards and points, last year was worse. So you go from 82nd to 59th, and you're thinking, that was a pretty dramatic improvement. Can you get top 30? Fingers crossed, hold your breath. They get top 30 this year. Should be really good complementary football to a very good offense. Let me give you some context. If I asked you, what were the years that were the worst defensive years for LSU? From start with Nick Saban in 2000, go through present day. Before 2023 and the COVID year. Most people are going to go 2008. And you'd be right. 2008 was the Malvito experience. Doug Mallory, Bradley Del Pivito, co-defensive coordinators after Bo Pelini went to Nebraska, promoted from within, and it was a disaster. 2008, LSU finished 56th in the country. Remember, that was such a disaster that they fired those two guys after 1 year and brought in John Chavis. They were 56th in the country. Last year, LSU was 59th, and that was a dramatic improvement from where they were. 08 and the other one, people will say, most likely, is 2013. Remember, they had the great offense. Mettenberger was a 3,000-yard passer. Jarvis and Odell, 1,000-yard receivers. Jeremy Hill, 1,000-yard rusher. Remember, that was the first time in the history of the SEC one school on the same team had a 3,000-yard passer, 2,000-yard receivers, and a 1,000-yard rusher. But what we remember is, man, they went to Georgia and couldn't cover anybody. And, boy, that defense really struggled that year under John Chavis. And they were young on the defensive line after losing all those great players from 2012. Do you know where that 2013 defense ranked nationally? That awful defense? That defense that couldn't complement that phenomenal offense? That defense in 2013? They were 21st in the country in total defense. That awful year, but we all remember, quote-unquote, awful year, 21st in the country. You want to know why that felt awful? Start with Nick Saban. These were the total defense ranks. In 2000, they were 33rd. 01, they were 38th. 02, they were 15th. 03, they win the national championship. They were first. So they went from 33, 38, 15, 1. 14, 3, 4, 17, 56 and 08. They fire the guys. Bring in Chavis. 11, 11, 2, 12, and then 21st in 2013. 21st felt like this awful outlier because you're finishing in the top 10 every year. And then in 14, they finished 4th. 2015, the Fournette year, where he went bonkers and then they went on the losing streak at the end, they finished 41st. Then in 2016, they finished 5th when they brought in Dave Aranda. 5th, 14th, 26th, 33rd in 2019 when they won the Natty, and then it all went to hell. 99th, 70th, 34th, 82nd, 59th. We have forgotten the context of what it was like to be a dominant defense every year to where 21st felt like an awful year. Because as we remember 2013, we remember that as an awful year. They were 21st in the country in total defense. If LSU was 21st in the country in total defense in 2023, they got another damn banner and a golden ice cream cone in the football ops building with that offense. Blake Baker finds a way to get back to that standard this year with the veteran players who have all played a ton of football, who are all here for 2 reasons: to make money and win a championship. That's it. They could have gone lots of places to make money. All these guys, these veterans who showed up this year, they're bought into the culture. They're getting paid, but they also came to make money. They came to make money, but came to win a championship. They can do it on this team. I think this is a year they reset what a realistic defensive expectation should look like at a place like LSU. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.